I'm here with athletic trainer of Presidio ISD, and I'm going to be conducting a research paper. But first, before we started this interview, I want him to explain his credentials.
Hello, my name is Isael Natividad. I'm the trainer at Presidio ISD, and I am a certified and licensed athletic trainer.
Okay, my research is could a baseball pitcher effectively increases his fastball speed by implementing a strength and flexibility training into his workout. Um, what are your what are the First of all, let's start with what are the components of the shoulder?
All right, the components of the shoulder girdle, bony structures are the clavicle, the scapula, and the humeral. And we got the muscles that act directly to the shoulder girdle, which are the rotator cuff, the deltoid, and the teres minor. We got those that act indirectly, like the pectoral major, latissimus dorsi, and the muscles that stabilize the scapula.
Okay, if I was to implement a strength training workout on my pitchers, basically the whole baseball team, we all gonna do it. Do you think? What are your beliefs on that?
Okay, I think that implementing a strength and conditioning program for the shoulder would help tremendously reduce the injury because the muscles are gonna get stronger and you're gonna get better muscle recruitment. Also, I don't know, you thinking about flexibility, that would actually help reduce the amount of injury because even studies that show that amount of external rotation that pitchers have or baseball players have is tremendously greater than average person, and that's because when they're young and they start throwing, their bone goes to a transformation and they go into retrogression, which that means that the bone kind of twist a little bit, so they have excessive amount of external rotation, but at the same time that amount of external rotation reduces the amount of internal rotation they have, so that can affect the follow through and injuries can develop from there.
Okay, so let's go cut and dry here. Do you or do you not think that a strength training, let's leave it in that box, strength training could increase the fastball speed?
Well, but I'm not an expert by any means, but I do think that strength won't increase the amount of speed greatly.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably a mile or two there now, but I think the strength should be more for injury prevention. I think the speed, it comes from muscle recruitment, neuromuscular control. More that you develop when you're younger and you're able to control. You know your body, you're able to control it. So you send the signal and your muscle reacts to it fast. That's where speed comes from.
Oh, okay. And what about flexibility?
Flexibility. If you have a lack of external rotation, it can affect it. So if you increase the amount of external rotation, so you have like a greater cocking angle, so you're able to increase some speed. But if you didn't get that retrogression transformation when you're young, you're not gonna be able to get that many degrees after if you try it when you're older.
So basically, on the pitcher, shoulder girdle injury could be drastic. So if a pitcher, just a normal pitching game, let's say he pitched on average about 70 pitches, which would go give or take about 7 innings. If he's a pretty average pitcher, what would be his recovery time?
There's some studies that show they go by 30 pitches about a day that they need to rest. So it's not about how many innings they pitch because the time length doesn't really count. It counts the amount of pitches they throw. So you count every pitch they throw, and depending on the amount they threw that day is the amount of days they need to rest. And rest doesn't mean just go out there and lay down. It means do some running, do some bike, do ice massage, light exercise, and that's trying to get the soreness out of it, trying to get the lactic acid out of it, and also trying to prevent the secondary hypoxia injury. That means that if you hurt a muscle, because when you throw, you get micro tears, and you get some injury by throwing so much. But if you don't take care of it, you're gonna get swelling in there, and other structures around that shoulder is gonna get hurt more. So it's gonna increase the amount of time you need to come back. So you try to reduce the amount. So you do icing and all running, bikes, biking and massage, all those to try to reduce the amount of time.
So would that be scar tissue that's coming in because of the tears from doing the scar tissue, or it's just
It's not really a scar tissue because the amount of tears is micro tears. It's like within the single cell. It doesn't include multi cell, so it doesn't adhere together. It's not really a scar tissue. It's just a micro tear.
okay? Let's say that a pitcher is complaining about elbow. This is maybe a day and a half after he's pitched. Do you think he would not he's complaining, but he's like, I'm still a little stiff. Do you think he can maybe pitch that third or fourth day?
No, actually, the amount of time they need to rest is just an estimate, but it's not the optimal decision right there. You need to include if they lose some flexibility because of soreness, they need to get it back. So they need to have the whole range of motion back, their whole strength back, and their whole soreness out of it before they can throw again. It's not, you don't go by day or two. You try to go by that, but you also introduce another factors that could affect it.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Doc Maha, and that's what I call him. I like to call him Doc Maha. But I certainly thank you for this interview.
All right.
And I hope that you got some out of his expertise, and this would pretty much help me up on my research.
I
And I
hope it
really
does.
appreciate it. Thank you.